Um, Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Testing, testing, testing. Let's see. Hello everyone. Hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, guys. Um, okay, great. Yes, I can see. I can see everything now working very well. Okay, good. Okay, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Okay, my volume is low. Is it still low? Or is it can everyone hear me? Because actually I'm using the double volume. So if it's low, maybe your volume is actually low. You can actually increase it. Are we good now? It's is it still low? Okay, that's weird. Okay, okay. You can hear me now. Cool. Great, great. Okay guys, you're all welcome to day one of UIUX Made Easy Foundations. So good to have you guys here. Oh, thank you. Okay, is it still low? Okay, volume is good. Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, Emmanuel, Victor, Prince. Good. Okay, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, all good. Testing, all good. Testing, testing, good. Okay, great. So I had to double volume, and so good morning, everyone from here, and good evening, everyone with the time. Or should I say good morning from the future? That works well. That will be good. Okay. Okay, guys, let's kick off with today. So welcome to day one of the UIUX BDZ foundations, and basically we'll be doing mostly theory and a bit of practical today, and we're going to use our time well to explore um, the field of UIUX today. And please hope we all have pens too and something to jot down because basically it's going to help us in the long run to just note down some things that we are getting from here today. Okay, so we're going to start, and yeah, so welcome to uh, day one of the UIUX Made Z foundations, and yeah, it's the basics that every beginner must know. And so what we'll be doing today, in a nutshell, is we're just going to be doing just a few things. We're just going to be doing these things normally today, and we're going to be doing what's UIUX, and we're going to be doing how great digital experiences are built, and common mistakes beginners make, and a challenge that will kickstart your learning journey, which we do at the end of it. Okay, so we're going to start with me, and basically, you guys are welcome. And I am Zeno Iduru, and I'm a graphic and UI UX designer with 8 years of experience. And you know the rest. We've been into graphic design, we've been into UI UX, and currently we do both. We do almost everything, but so far we are splitting the gifts bit by bit. But yeah, that's who I am, and it's good to have you all here. So first of all, let's start with the basics, and the basics will be what is UI UX, and many of us have heard this thing a lot of times. Like it's simple theory. UI is user interface, and it's the layout, right? It's the layout, is the visual, is the interactive element of a product. And basically, when you're thinking of UI, you're thinking about the buttons, you're thinking about the colors, you're thinking about the fonts, and you're thinking about the spacing. And basically, the UI of a product is very important because number one, you are seeing what you're seeing is what you relate to, and basically it's basically what you see in the apps, in your phone, in your bank apps, in your maybe messaging apps, in your maybe trading apps, and all those little apps you see. Everything you see on those places are what it's what makes the UI, user interface. And then user experiences, this is the overall feel of the experience and how smooth, how helpful, and how or frustrating it is. And we have seen that in most times, mostly when you're using an app and then the thing has maybe an issue. You're trying to maybe send a file, and then the file just you just surprised that you land on a different page entirely that you know nothing about. You are not supposed to be there, but then you are there. That's a question you ask yourself that, okay, this experience is bad. And now we're going to learn what relates both of them together. Now, according to what we've seen now so far, we can see that the analogy of UI is like, I'm going to use a car for an example. Okay, so this is the Lexus, right? And so basically, UI is the steering wheel, the pedal, and the dashboard of the car. While UX is how it feels when you drive it. So you can say you have a design, and this is a whole design. And I remember something recently that they made an example that ladies build a car for only ladies. I remember that time. But then they brought the car. It was very beautiful and very, very, very fine, very classy. But at the end of it, it could not be used. That's where the experience comes in. You can make something very beautiful, but it can't be used, and that is bad product. Like a UI without the UX, it's there is no there's no body, there's no family in that thing. You need a functional UX for your UI to be very, very okay. So basically, if you do something that is very beautiful and at the end of it, it can be used. If you do an app that the design is so top notch, but at the end of it, it can be used. That product is not a product. And basically, you can see that in the terms of this car is beautiful and it's okay. And then this will be the UX of that car. So someone will be using the car. So it's not about you just designing the car. You have to have the main thing, which is the user experience of that car. Now, why UI UX matters? So basically, great UX increases user satisfaction and loyalty. And with the experience that I've gotten so far, this is true. So no matter how many like your I was doing a project recently to do an app for a client, and then the client came and then I started the UI. But in terms that I did it in my own way, They told me they had no idea or something to start with. So I started, and then, I didn't do a proper research. I just thought that, okay, something I can actually do with my knowledge I have in UI UX. So I started the whole thing. And then at the end of it, the client came and said, no, this is not what I want my user to experience. I don't want them to experience this kind. I know that this is something that is very, very relative with people, but then I want something different. And that's how this is very important, because you don't want users to feel left out in your design. And that is what you should always put in the back of your mind when designing an app. You should make sure that the users are related to, in a basis that they know what they are going to feel when they're going to feel like, okay, I'm home with the app when I'm using it. I'm not going to be confused. I know that if I'm clicking here, it's taking me here. If I'm clicking here, it's taking me there. That's the thing. And then clean UI builds trust and enhances usability. Now, when we say clean UI, I would say clean UI is, I will show you an example later about the clean UI. So basically, clean UI is you don't have many things all packed together in a screen. So basically, if you are on a screen and then you're just scrolling through your phone, I don't know if you have experienced it before. You can tell me in chat if you have experienced it, but you're using an app and then the app has so much information in just one place. You don't even know where to click again. That is that is unclean. You need something that is clean. Like for example, so you have clean UIs like how would I say, I use the CarUI's app, and that actually is an example of a clean UI. You can see you know where to click, you know that this is there, not the ones that you can open. Now, when you open an app, you don't even know where to click. If you click somewhere, it will be the um, the functionality doesn't doesn't it's not approved. It doesn't work well. That is a bad example. So clean UI builds the trust, because basically clean UI can make you feel that you're using a good app. But if you're using a bad UI, you should that even gives you a feeling that you're using a fraud app, that kind of feeling. So that's not what you want, for you to build trust for your users. So that's important when designing an app. And then companies like Apple and Uber, they do use this, and basically they invest on clean UI. Airbnb app, you can find houses, and then you have Uber car, and Apple, you just open a website, you know what you're seeing, you go there, and the welcoming of those pages, they are just welcoming you that please use me. That's how they want apps to be. You're there, you want to actually use the app, you don't want to be there and then you be like, okay, where would I go to, what's this app about? So that's the process. So it impacts growth, retention, and conversion. You want sales for your app. You don't want the one that people come, then use your app and then throw it away. You don't need the app again. That's not something you want. And this is where it all starts. Now, this is where it all starts, because whenever you're doing an app, you need to make research, and from research you're going to user flow. Exactly, 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 exactly. I think I opened that app one time and then I was like, I'm confused. Just leave the app. Exactly. That's the thing. You need something that's functional, because when you have a bad user experience with your app, the only idea that will be in people's mind is that that app is not legit. It's not legit. I'm not using that app again. That's the idea that people get when you open an app and then you see the UI is bad. Nah, I'm not sure I'll use that app again. That's the thing that just comes to mind. So when you're making a UI, make sure it is clean, make sure it is understandable, make sure that the things that you are clicking is leading you somewhere that is direct. You know that when it's leading you there. That's why the research part is important. Now let's go into this thing. Now the UX design process is very simple. Now for UX part, now you have research. Okay, so this part of research is called, you have to understand the user problems, the needs, the goals, And how do you do that? How do you do that? Now what do? You do interviews, you do survey, you do analytics. Now, when you understand the problem that user has, right? You know, okay, this is what our this is the needs that they need to, like, these needs can actually solve the problem. And then after the needs, you know that the goal is to, yes, this is what I'm going to do. Then those goals, how do you achieve those goals? The next step will be an interview. Now, these interviews might be through just asking questions, or you can actually do surveys. And this is something that we do regularly. You send surveys out, people fill it to see if they actually need the app, because you can't be doing an app and then people don't know. People be like, okay, I'm not sure we need that. Maybe we don't need the app. Like, for example, now we have uh Chowdeck in Nigeria. Chowdeck app is something that is actually going very big right now, because you know that you can actually buy. It's like a team of different stores, um, different restaurants in one app. Then you can actually buy, and then riders go, they pick it up for you and bring it to you. Like in 30 minutes, you have your food. That's the thing. That's how important research it. Like when you research things about a specific product, and you work on that product, you'll notice that the result that you get after research and everything will be better than you just going into it with your own design knowledge. See, that's why UX is important. UX is the brain, UI is the talent. So when you have the brains and you add the talent, put the brain and talent together, you get something very, very functional and very active. So next one will be user flows. So user flows is the mapping how users go through the app, like from menu, your login screen, your sign up screen. Maybe there's a Google account, the person has to sign in, and then the verification code that will be sent in. Those things are those peak points. Those are what user flows are. And maybe he wants to send money. Where would the person go? What would the person type? Where would the person type? How will the screen be when the person wants to type? Is there something that you want to add to it? Those things, those are what are involved in user flow, and that's what we can see here. This is what they are planning. Like this is like a chat app. You can see the chat icon right here. Like this is the wireframe of the chat. Now let's go into this one now. This is the process. We have the sketch, we have the wireframe, we have the mockup. Now the sketch is normally rough. The sketch, it's not like possibly to be so beautiful. It doesn't mean to be so beautiful because it's an idea, right? It's an idea. So you're bringing it to life with your wireframe. So the wireframe is the next step after the sketch, and you can see that there is a similarity between the sketch and the wireframe. So if you don't want to actually do the sketch, you can actually do the wireframe. And basically, sometimes we don't even need these steps, but with these steps, it shows how professional you are. So if you're doing a wireframe for your client, the client will be like, okay, you're having a deep thinking on what we're actually planning to do. It can involve it. It's also on websites, so you can do a wireframe of your website, but clients won't actually understand it. So basically, it's for the UX designer and for the UI designer to flow through when they're actually doing the design. So wireframe is important because number one thing I noticed that when you are doing things in a more professional way, it gives you the how would I say, it gives you the badge of professionalism in a way that they see you that you're professional. Like, oh, okay, you thought of doing this wireframe first. That's professional. Okay. Okay, the person has already done the wireframe. Okay, that's good. So we don't need to do wireframe again. Next thing will be the mockup. Now, the mockup part is when you actually just put the images there. You just put like, okay, this place will have an image, this place will have the write up, and from the write up, we'll know that, okay, these are the places that we placed. And you can see that we have the different areas here. We have the menu icon, we have the logo, we have the picture, we have the text, picture, we have text. And the one underneath, you can notice that the first one started from the sketch. So this is telling you that there are two ways to start your project. You can start from the sketch or you can start from the wireframe. And wireframe, everything will lead up to your prototype. And your prototype is where the main thing comes in. Now, this prototype is where you test the app. When you're done with the prototype, you send to the UX designer. The UX designer can test it, or the client can test it to see how it's functioning. Now, okay, if I click here, it takes me to this place. This is how we discussed it, and this is where your research actually pays off, because when the person is actually testing it in the prototype, he will check and say, okay, according to what we sketched down in the research, we noticed that people will actually want to buy it from the store. So if I click on this button, it should take me to the store that I want to get something, and then I buy it from there and I get it to delivered to me. So that is the point, that you test your knowledge of your research which you have done. So keep that in mind. And also number three, which is the wireframes, we'll talk about it. So the basic layout sketches to organize content and action, and then your prototypes, interactive mockup that simulates real usage. Like I said, that's when you use it, test yourself. And then the testing now will not be testing and feedback. So when you're testing it, you get feedback from your client or the UX designer that, okay, we're on the right track. Okay, so the next thing will be for maybe you want to add this page, add this here and there. Those are those things that you see, that the feedbacks that come in. It's in general in design, mostly in design, when you're done with your client project or a flyer, there might be feedbacks. And the same feedbacks you get in design is almost the same thing you get in UI UX design, because at the end of it, the client might come after 2 months and tell you that I want to change the screen. Then you have to change it. That's the thing. You just don't have any choice. You can come again and say I want to add a new screen entirely. You still have to change it. Man, that's the thing. You don't like that is it. It will just come from nowhere and tell you that, okay, I don't think I like this screen here. We need to change it. I want to add a screen before it. Just go into the if don't just lose any file, just keep it there. Please don't remove any file. Just keep any file that you're doing on Figma. Don't remove it. That's the plan. Because you never know when your client will come from anywhere. And always keep everything that they change. That is something that is important. Anything that is changed, please keep that the original file in maybe a left side. Just keep it on one side, because there might be a day that they might come back and say they want that style back again. So that's something you should do. Okay, so like I said, sketch, wireframe, and sketch, wireframe. Everybody, I forgot just now. Sketch, wireframe, mockup, prototype. Okay, so that's the system. And you can see how the prototype is actually working here. So you can see that you click it on the app, you open it here. The next step, when you sign in leads to this one. And this is the prototype system that you're seeing here. Okay, leads to here. Good evening. Leads to here. This is the page, and this is the app. You can see how it is. Okay, so the next one will be real life UX scenario. So this is something I would say. So bad UX is cluttered and confusing. So the steps are slow, and the time that it takes to load is very, very slow. And basically, for an example of a bad UX, you can see on the left, you can see the spacing that is on that place. It's not professional, because at the end of it, if I click on number 2, I might be clicking on number 1, because when you set the components and the functions, you have to tap on that on the object there. And me tapping on this object, maybe I want to tap on broccoli, but at the end of it, I'll be tapping chicken, because they are close together. So the component is actually there. If I'm clicking on it, and it can be affecting the one for chicken, and that will be very confusing. But when it comes to the good UX, you can actually it's quick, it's smooth, it's everything is clear, screen and progress indicators, everything is there. And you can see it on the left. You can see the spacing is very, very accurate, and everything is well aligned, that you can actually click one and then you're good to go. Okay, so that's very important too. So now the keynote is a great experience. Removes friction and builds confidence. It's the same thing we said back when we said clients are very, when you please them, they are comfortable with the app. And You can see that from the experiences of different platforms like Google, you know. Um, Now, you have noticed that Google has done many updates over the space of how many years now. You can see the logos changing, you can see the logo animations, you can see some other things. Those are like maybe research that they have done. Maybe they saw that. And basically, how do Google do research? Like you use Google every day. That question, how do Google do research is because we use their phones every day. Like everything is powered, almost everything now is powered by Google. So when you're using the Google your phone, every app you open, you have to log in to Google. So they have access to that app, and then they check that how you use the app. Maybe there's something you see that you like on the app, and then they take it, they work on it, and then they said, okay, let's try it on Google. That's how they do it. That's the idea behind it. So that's the brain behind the app. That's how they do design. You take it, you go, you see how people are doing it, and maybe there's no survey entirely, but then you're using the app, so they have access to it. They can check and then tell you, and basically you can see that 47% of users will share their negative customer experience in the app, or visit or website visit with friends, or while 44% of customers will tell about the positive experience. Now, basically, you can see that a higher percentage will actually tell about the bad experience, then a lower percentage will tell about the good experience. And that's how app normally is. Some people just say how to manage the app, some people just say, and that's how some people fall into different scams. You're downloading this app that's kind of, and basically there's something called a clone app, which people do mostly. So you can actually download the app and you think that it's the app that you downloaded, but it's another app entirely. So let's be guided and be careful when it comes to such cases. And basically, Shopify, you can see that there was a problem there. You can see that Shopify, 67% of customers would abandon shopping carts because of unclear navigation. These are keynotes. Like that's a research on its own. You'll be like, okay, so if I'm designing my app or a website, I would know that when I'm doing it, if someone clicks here, it will take the person to that place. The person will add to cart, and then from the cart you go to your checkout. You checkout, you pay with your card or your PayPal account or any account that's listed there on the Apple website. So that's important. Okay. So you can see on HubSpot, 88% of customers are unlikely to revisit the website if they had a poor user experience. So you should always make sure that your user experience is on point. It's never off. Now, intro to UI design, and let's go into UI design in general. So what makes a good UI? So layout is important, and layout is in every field of design. It's it's in every field. It's in normal design field we normally do every day, and so basically, layout is structure should guide the eye, and this means that how you actually are reading your app. The first thing you open when you open your app, the first thing you see is the top. Maybe you just see the name, or maybe you're on Instagram now, and then the first thing you see is Instagram. Okay, so the next thing you see is that you see notifications and message. That's all we know about Instagram, and then we know that the next one we see is stories, right? Okay, that's stories, and then the next thing you see is the person's post. Maybe there's a recent post the person posted. You see that one next, and that's how you guide the eyes of the person. So the layout is structured, and then the spacing. You don't want everything to be like we saw on that list a while ago. You can see you please like we should use white space and let them breathe. It's not combined. It was back then we UX don't really reason this. I believe that back then they had something that you just have to just design it. The developers to do everything. But now when you're doing it, it should reflect on both your UI UX and the developer space. Because when you're giving it to the developer will check your spacing and you will write everything down in your document, 20 pixel for spacing and everything. Those things are important there. And then the next thing is your typography should be readable. You don't want to use it. I know that most of us we have customized typography. When we have when we download our apps, we can actually use our phones and change the settings. We can change the typography by ourselves. But the default one, which we have designed on the app, normally it should be readable. It should not be confusing. It should not be, you open the phone and then you be like, what am I saying? You can't, like, nobody should open their phone and then the next thing you should see is a script font. Oh, why? Like, I can't read it. And basically, script font, mostly it's those tiny ones that you just see. No, it's not fair. I understand we want to be stylish, but nah, mm, typography is really, if it's two fonts that you're using, the same thing like you're doing your design, you can use maybe Inter and maybe Montserrat, it's fine, or Inter, it's okay, no problem. Or Railway, yeah, Railway works, and that works. And then colors and contrast, yeah, that's important, yeah, and basically the place that people are mostly guilty of this is when they're using the light mode of the app. So when you're using the light mode of the app, you know that you're actually guilty, because when you're using this, that's where you normally get the glimpse of the UI UX. That's where you see the colors in action. You see the text, you see the buttons, because on dark mode normally just takes maybe just one thing out of everything and just put it there. And dark mode is really more functional, more techy. But when you're on light mode, you can actually catch the ideas of everything that was used in the app. Like even now, if I open my light mode, I can't even see my screen well. Like, okay, what is this? But yeah, colors and contrast, it should actually help. But and then we have visual hierarchy, and really it's one of the most important elements, because everything has to be in order. Your text has to be where the text is supposed to be, your buttons have to be where the buttons are supposed to be, and then your visuals, when you're putting your pictures, where is it supposed to be? It's supposed to be there. So all these things are what is important in a UI. And basically, when you have these things, right, when you have these things all set up, you'll notice that you have a better spacing, a clear call to action, a improved color contrast, and also consistent typography. So, e.g., I actually put this thing on animate. I do not know why it's not animating at this point. Okay, yeah, actually it's click. So basically, we have seen actions like this on buttons. So when you click on this, you'll notice that everything increases. You can see this is an example of a component, and it's something that has to do with, okay, so if you click a button, what happens after you click that button? This is an example of it. So basically, this might be like an icon on an app, and then you want to click it, you can actually see the name of the person. And then we have this thing here. If we normally see this in our login screen. So for example, on login screens, you know that you must fill in your details. And most login screens, if you notice, there's something you should know about UI. Okay, so in UI, you see this button here, this login buttons. It should actually fill the screen. It shouldn't be like this. Like, it shouldn't be like someone begging or someone just looking for a block and then putting it on that. It should be in a very proportional and good width, not this funny thing you see here. And then the username and password should not be active, because there are some things that should be encrypted, so they should be on the low opacity. And this is where your document comes in, because you're going to put in your document that, okay, so the low opacity of the text, when it's not active, it should be in this, maybe 2121 or EEE or 1E, 1E. You put it there. And then when you click on it, it can change to maybe it will be blank, and then you type. That's when this color will not pop up. So you can see that this will be an example of a good UI, which is on the right, and then the bad UI on the left. Now let's go into something deep. Let's go into the 7 laws of UX. Now, basically, we have 7, and one of them is the Hick Law. Now, too many choices is slow down decision, and it happens to me mostly when I'm using Google Form too. You need the one that will give you a wide range Why? Like mostly in the term of age. Okay, nobody wants to actually. Some people don't even want to even put their age there. So that thing. So basically, it's good to just put something that has a wide range, like 1 to 5, 6 to 10, or so. That gives users like very very fast thinking. Okay, I'll just click on this. My age, my number is there. My age is there. Just click on it, and then you click on it. If you click on this wide, you know that people will be scrolling. That's too much of work. Just do something that has a range. Range is better in a way. And then the next one is the fits law. So small targets are harder to click, and that's what we just talked about just now. So you have the small login, which is not good. It's better to have a wide login, which is better. You don't you those small things is not on a PC. It can be fine. The PC would be on a website. It can be fine because you're doing it for a website, and website has a lot of buttons on it, so it might be on the left or on the right. That works. And then we have the Miller's law. So user gets overwhelmed when there are too much information. Now, uh, how would I say it now? Change name, change profile, change email, dark mode options. Now, this can be confusing, but if you actually group them, like how we did for the age, right? It will actually be more fun. Like you say, okay, manage your account. Under manage your account, I think we have this on mobile phones too. Yeah. So under manage your account, you have your personal details, you have your password, you have your payment cards. So this one will not be under account. So you know that, okay, this is my account setting. This is what I'm actually going for. And then the other one will not be app setting. Okay, yes. So this is where I can actually go and fix my app. Not everything will not be under your settings, and then you'll be confused on where to go. So this is I don't know if you understand that, or are we good? If you have any question, you can actually throw it, and I'll can reply when as we're teaching we're going. So just let me know if you have any question. Okay. So we have the Jacob's law, and basically it's user struggles with a familiar design. Okay, so basically on every shopping app we have this mind that there is something called add to cart, there is something called wish list, or there's something called favorite. So if you do something that just has to do with just buy now, the user may be confused, and that's why there is a law that says every user is used to something that is similar. So there is something that is similar, and there's a way of doing something that is similar to. How do I mean? Okay, so number one, we all know that okay, the first thing you do when you open a phone, when you open an app is to the first screen comes up. It comes up as some phones go to login, some phones go to sign up. That's understandable. So basically, you can actually sign up, or maybe you have an app before, or maybe you have the app before. You can actually just log in. Now, when you go to a a shopping app, you can know that when you want to buy something, there is something called wish list. You can, or maybe you can add to cart. Now, or you want to buy directly, that goes well. So this is actually more functional than this because they have more options. So someone can just add to cart and continue buying than just buying now without even knowing. Maybe there's a fee for just buying only one, the fee is higher. But if you have these options, much options, you know that okay, if you add to cart, you can come back again and then pick another one, add to cart, pick another one. It's like going to a mall directly. So give them that experience. And we have the Tesla's law, make it less complex for users to understand. So basically, you are saying phone number, and they give you Sam Johnson, and then they see username here. Even me, I'll be like, okay, what's going on? I just opened the app, and then I'm seeing phone number, I'm seeing name, and then I'm seeing username. Which one am I doing? Am I typing the phone number? It's confusing. Like there is no proper instruction. You just want me to come and put my phone number and username and just in one place. I don't understand. Is it that I'm doing it there, or is there something else I'm supposed to do? That's wrong. You have to make sure that everything is clear, which is you said phone number. So the example there should be a number. And then you can actually have the place you can put the drop down for maybe the country code. Yes, it's important because you never know where the person is actually typing from. So you need that country code. It's very important now. Generally, it's very important, to put that country code, and this will make someone to understand it whenever they're using the app. And then this is the peak end rule. So it attracts users' attention during or at the end of activities for them to get the final moment of an experience. And I don't know if everybody knows an example of where this is used because everybody uses the app. I don't know if anyone can guess the app that uses this the most. Can anybody guess? Like like there is one particular app that does that. They use this peak end rule the most. Even when you are using the app, they actually follow up with you every time you're using it. Not everybody can guess on the chat. Anybody? It's one app. It's like okay, let me give you an example. It's a game and educational app at the same time. Duolingo, God bless you. Yes, you got it. That's it. So basically it's Duolingo. It's Duolingo. Yeah, that's it. Duolingo, yeah, that's it. Duolingo uses this thing every time. Mostly when you're using the app, every day, like when you're using the process, guys you through the process. When you get to the end, like even at the middle, you're getting somewhere, and then you get there. Yeah, Piggyverse uses it, OP uses it. Yes, thank you. But Duolingo uses it the most. Like Duolingo uses like everything. They use that a lot, a lot. You see the actions of the even when you're not using the app, you can see the icon of the app will be sad. That's the action. So you want you're calling your audience to use your app. That's wisdom. Whoever did Duolingo is very, very sharp. Like when you're not using the app, you can see the icon of the app is sad. Exactly. Yeah, it's sad, and then when you open the app, it started rejoicing, and then you see the follow up, everything. You're welcome back. But if you're using only just text and 8/10, even in normal graphic design, it's like you're just giving me a notice and then just put the text there. That's all. It's tiring, and basically you can see that there's a difference here too. Congratulations for completing this activity, 8/10. Okay. But then in this one, congratulations, activity completed. View results. Now view results will give you a larger scale. That's why you see the 8/10. You see your answers, the wrong answers, the right answers, and those things are very important when you're having this the UX. And then laws of proximity, which we just did. So always consider spacing, like we said earlier. So it's a law of proximity. So let's go to top beginner's mistake, which we normally do. So designing without understanding the user's needs. I believe we talked about this earlier, if you notice. So it's very important you know the user's need before diving into the design. It's a general knowledge because you can't just say you want to just do it because you're the designer and then you have the final say. You can advise the client too to understand what you're going, and then the client gives you his idea, you mix it together, you bring something good. So please design, just make sure you design without with, I mean with, not without. Please don't say I said without. So design with, like you have to understand the user and everything that they're needing to do your research. You need to understand them. You need to make sure you do your survey, you get your analytics very right before diving into a design. Then your next thing is there's one mistake that they do is using too many colors or fonts. I know we do it on normal design basis, but when it comes to UI UX, please maintain your colors, maintain your font. It's not boring because at the end of it, when you're using the app, you will enjoy it. Yeah, that's the thing. You enjoy it. So I use like 20 with 10 colors one place, and nobody can see it again. God help us. You see what you're seeing. And then fonts, you see it's like 5 fonts in one app. Who are we fighting? Relax, okay? Just make sure it is stable, going too far. Okay, and then ignoring mobile responsiveness, and this is in terms of websites. Now, in websites, you know that you are designing for websites for for your laptop and also for your mobile phones. Now, whenever you're designing for your laptops and those desktop, you should make sure that you should test the responsiveness with your mobile phones. Don't make it seem as if your mobile phones are out of date. That's why you see, I think Kuda does it too. Kuda has their own web dashboard and they have their phone dashboard, which is a bit different, but yeah, there are still the same functions there. So you can see, that okay, they said okay, we can actually use our web browser, we can actually use our phones. That is something that's versatile. So basically, you know that you can use it you can use it on your, it's flexible, you can use it on your web, you can use it on your phone. So do not ignore mobile responsiveness, whatever you do, please. And also forgetting accessibility. You know that some people are actually um, can't see some small text. So make sure that when you're doing it, you should make sure that the app has, it's bold enough for people to see. Don't just do it in a way that, okay, generally we have to use 12 as the font size. I use 12 and nobody can see 12. Like, not everybody can see the 12. So you should make sure. And then, one thing that you shouldn't do is skip testing. That's like saying you cook food and then you mistakenly added salt that was too much earlier. You now forgot to test it. But at the end of it, anything that happens, to God be the glory, will survive. Don't worry. Anything that happens next. So that's the thing. You should not skip. Don't skip testing. It's very important. Okay. And then for takeaways, you should know that UI UX is not about looking good. It's about solving problems. So keep that in mind. It's about solving problems. And then great design guides, not distracts. Guides you. You see your amount first. You see an ad about an investment next. You see the recent transaction next. That's what you should be seeing on screens. And then you see your top choices of your restaurant. You see the top food choices. You see the recent ones you've done. You see, that's the thing. That's how app functionality is. Yeah, step, 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 like that. And then the best designers are listeners, not just creators. So please take that, like take notes. We don't just you gotta listen, you gotta adjust, you gotta feel. You still have to adjust too, because there's sometimes that you feel like you know everything, and then there is one kind of very tactical thing that comes up. Then be thinking of how to maneuver it, but then you notice that you just have to get to just calm down and follow the flow. Don't, okay. So that will be the end of the theory part before going to the little practical that we'll have to do, and then we'll follow up with everything. So, but basically, if you have any questions, please you can shoot them now. And thank you all for sticking to the end, like 46. Wow. Thank you, 46 people. Thank you so much. So if you have any questions, please, you can ask. You can just type it in the box and we'll be good to go. You're very welcome, boss. Any questions? Very welcome, very welcome, very welcome. Well, not people actually, it's the team that you're working with. So basically, when you are working with your team, there is someone who is going to be a UX designer there, a UXer. So that person will actually test the app there, not people. So it's not about doing the people. You already did the target. So the target people, and then people around. There is a team. So that team has to have people who will be critics of your your design. There are people there that are normally going to be the critics because they have been using app and they know. So that's very important. Okay, not people. Not that that means the app won't be surprised again if you're doing that. You understand? So if you're doing the and then you want to show everybody that okay, this is the app I'm doing, so it won't be a surprise again. Okay, so the research now, about that research now, this is the important thing about research. You notice how Google are doing theirs by people using other apps and then they are inside your phone. Then for research partner for other apps, it's normally by questionnaires and also by seeing things, by just going around and they're using app, like they're just opening different apps like they are customers, or how would I say, they are, how would I say, relatable customers, or really relatable apps, like a kind of friendly app that is the same, doing the same thing like their own. They'll just go and check, like, okay, what are these people doing? Okay, what's something that we can do? What will be our there's something value say proposition or something like that. What will be our selling place that will actually take out from this place if these people are doing this thing like this? What will be our own thing to do? What will be our genuine idea out of what they are doing now? Maybe these people are changing money through this. Maybe we can change money through that. That's the thing. That's the idea. So they use different apps and then they take the idea from there and pick it. That's how they do the research. And then they ask a few questions to people who they know that they can actually, um, is AI going to dominate this field? Go and check Google. Ask Google and come back. Yeah, because I've not seen it. There's nothing. There's nothing like dominating anything. We're using it. Everybody's using it. So there is nothing dominating any field. If AI was dominating this field, why are people still doing UI UX design till today? People are still even doing it, and nobody's even bothered about the whole thing. We're still doing it. It's helping us. That's what it's doing. So AI is just supporting. That's the thing. So even in design too, don't be scared. Because at the end of it, if you use AI to do the work, at the end of it, you don't have your backup files. That's trouble. So you see, you're safe. Okay. So any more questions? Exactly, exactly, boss. Exactly. AI is designed by a UI designer, and then at the end of it, we're using it to help ourselves. That's the thing. So we just actually use it. It's just there for us to use and help us. Number of times you need to work on a project. Bro, there are some projects that I work for a year plus. They're still working on the app because tomorrow the guy might come and say we need to change this. Like the project I told you I was working on, this is like the third month we're working on it and it's still ongoing. The person might come tomorrow and then, tell me that we have to change the screen and there is no amount of time. Just know that when you're done when it gets to that point. So when you start the project, you start the project till when you get to that point, and then you can actually breathe. So you get my point, right? Yeah, that's it. It's not a matter of time. It's an everyday thing. You wake up in the morning and then just send a correction that this is what we want to do today and blah. You have to go there and it's no matter of time. It's no dates. Okay. So any more questions? Because at the end of it, the anything that has to do a successful this thing and successful, how would I say, a successful project, UI project. It's just based on the usability at the end of it. Okay, so for okay, yeah, portfolio is actually here. So this is my current portfolio right now for my US project, and basically, yeah. So this is my portfolio right here, and though I have one for my general design, but this is just what I use for my general projects for UIUX and websites. This is it right here. So that's it on the chat box. You can actually check it. And, yeah. So have a question? So like I said, okay. So first of all, the hero section has to do with what you're doing. So you don't need much explanation there. Just what you're doing. Hi, crafting, and blah blah blah. Okay. So yeah. Do we have any more questions before we do just one task and that's it? Just one task. So first of all, I have one question. Do every one of us have Figma on our laptops or browser? Thank you so much. Do everyone have Figma? Like everyone. Do we have Figma on our laptops? Okay, great. Okay, so now what we're gonna do today is just very simple task. No hard thing. We're just gonna check. Okay, so for if you don't have, you just have to go to figma.com and then you see this interface here, figma.com, and thank you so much, bro. So basically, Figma beta is still good, but okay. So for Figma, you just have to go to figma.com and then you sign up. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to go to figma.com or just like Figma on your. For me, I think I already have it, so that's the thing. So you just have to go to figma.com, but if it goes to files, because mine is already registered there, so let me try my Chrome. I think Chrome doesn't have it here. Okay, yeah, okay, great. So Figma, okay, so we have this Figma, and then we have if you go to Figma on your browser, this is how you do it. So yeah, that's cool. You have the online version. Super. So, but people do not have. When you go to Figma, when you search on Figma on Google, this is what comes up. You click on the first one on top, right? And then you see this page right here. Now, this is the easy process. You see this page right here, and I believe that you see this pop up here on the right. Okay, but if you don't have it at all, what you do is that you go to your get started for free. So that's what you go to. Okay, you following me? So you have your Figma, you go to Figma, you go to figma.com, you click on the first one you see there, and then you go to get started for free. And then you put in your email or you continue with your Gmail. Are you following? Everyone there? I knew that 1 hour was not going to be 1 hour. Okay, great. So if you're here, what you do is that you continue with your Gmail or your Google. Just continue with Google, and then you click on your Google account. It pops up here. Okay, so it pops up here, and then you select the one that you're going to use. Okay, so when you do it, it pops up. Everything comes here. But if you are new, it will show you a process which you have to follow through. And basically, it's like actually signing up for any app that you want to do. Like any app that you want to do online, you open the app the same way it actually flows. You have to go through your name, your email, your those long process. So if it's actually showing you that, you just have to follow that process and then you install it. You just open this place on your. I will send a link on the group for people who are actually stuck there. But then you can actually rewatch this because it's going to be no Figma Beta is just beta, right? It's not the one you're using on your laptop. It's very different. But then this video is going to be on. It's going to be on. It's going to be on YouTube. So this part of the video, I think, is from 1 hour. Yeah. So basically, you can actually watch this part when you get everything sorted out, and I'll send a link on how to if there's a process you need to follow when you're installing Figma. Okay, so what we are going to do today is a very very simple task, just a simple task for beginners. Then we are going to do something different, a whole different tomorrow, which is going to be a very very good day. It's going to be a very very long day too. So today we're going to do something to just know the interface of what we're seeing. So I'm not supposed to have all this right here. So I'm just going to go to this place and open a new interface entirely. So I'm just going to, now when you open Figma, you're going to see all this is design, Fig Jam, slide, buzz, and site. Each of them will go through it tomorrow and next. So the thing you're going to click on is design. Okay, so when you click on design, it's going to open this for you. And we're going to go into the main. It's going to show untitled. It's not a team project, so it's free. And when you open your Figma, this is what you're going to see. You have 2 pages left, and I think some of them is 2 pages, but I think for this one you have more than 2 pages because you're using the just a design. You're not using a team project, so team projects is actually going to be limited to 3. But for just a general usage, you can actually have up to many pages. Okay, so that's the difference between a team project. Team project page actually limited to 3, but then when it comes to the one of just a design file, you can actually have more than 3. So now something you should do is you have this on your left side. You can see untitled, which is the name of your project, and made the okay. So the left side here is the name of the project. You can actually just click on it and rename it. And then you have file, you have assets, you have page 1, you have layers. So there's nothing on the layers code. We don't have anything on our board. And then on the right, you will see design, prototype, page. Now the page, if you see this page here, it is for your entire screen. It's for this, the color of this place. And you can see this is the 1E I was actually mentioning about recently. So this page is your color of your screen, like this. So you can actually change the color of your screen. It's going to be weird if you're actually doing that. Like, it's only when maybe you want to do it to white. That's understandable. But using any other color from that, Okay, that's kind of weird for me actually. But then, okay, so we have this. So what we have underneath now has changed from what we had before. So we did have this, we had this before. We have this hand, we have the move, we have the scale. So each of them have their own shortcut. So we have V, H, K. So then we have the frame. So the frame has three things, and these three things are very, 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 special in a way, because we'll be doing something very, very special soon too. So there's something good coming. And then we have this, which is the shape too. We have different shapes. We have rectangle, we have polygon, and please, you are not using a rectangle for your screen. Always know that you're using a frame. Keep that in mind. You're never using a rectangle. You're using a frame. That's what we use for the screens, not rectangle. Okay. So your image and all those are right here. Then we have the text. Then we have the comments. Then we have the plugin manager. You can actually go to plugins and everything you want to use on Figma right here. And then we have the new three things that they just shifted somehow. We have the draw. The draw is it's almost similar to what we have in Illustrator. And for people who are using Illustrator or Corel, I think you've seen these things there. You can see your there's a pen, there is a brush, and there is a pencil. So and then there is the back to your normal design, and then we have this thing called dev mode. Now dev mode doesn't work on free. It doesn't work for free versions, but dev mode works when you are using an education account or you are using a paid account. Now for dev mode, this is what you see on dev mode. Dev mode shows you things that, um, like I told you about the spacing and the rest of it. That's what dev mode shows you. And dev mode, you can see it right here. If I click on dev mode now, you can see what will show on my screen. On the right side and the left side, you can see everything has changed. And this is when you're working with developers. And this is something we use in the future. So I'm just showing you everything, the functions now. You can see on the left side, you can see your layers has changed. The colors are being changed to green. And then you can see something said mark as ready for dev. So basically, it means that everything here on this screen is ready for dev. If you click on it, it will show ready for development. So basically, this icon here will show right there. But if you click on it and then you remove the status, it will not change to the normal. So, and then on the dev mode, you can see that everything is showing. I don't know if you see that. You can see that everything, the measurement and everything is showing. You can see the height from the top is 79. The one on the left is 30. On the right is 103. Then for the, you can see 31, 31. And these are the things that the developers want to see when they're actually working on the project. When they come to the Figma file, this is what they want to see on your screen. Like they want to check the mode to see everything. If there's any error, they call you. Please come back and check this if this is correct. This color is correct. And the buttons like height 2020, 130, 130, and all these things, the spacing in between the objects and everything inside. Those are your accurate height and width and everything. And you can see on the right, you can see the codes there on the right, so it will be easy for the developer to say, okay, this is 430 by 930 screen. I click on here. This is the code, the flex, and all these things. Those are for developers, okay? So this is something we'll do later on. So the first thing we're going to do today is just a simple thing. We're just going to do just one screen. That's it, and it's just a login screen. Just that. That's it. Just a login screen. Okay. And okay, so it's going to be very easy. When you click on frame, now you click on frame right here. Okay. So when you click on frame, on the right side, you really don't need to draw frames because Figma already gives you everything down. So you don't need to really draw anything. You just need to go to your right. You see slide, you see desktop, you see tablets, you see phone. So basically each of these things are what we actually have and use. You can see the one for the watch, which normally they use for Apple Watch and maybe those smartwatch. These are the sizes there. Presentations, mostly slides and what we just used just now for our presentation from here. Desktop, you can see the one for MacBook, desktop, and wireframes and TV right there. Tablets, which is for tablet design, screens are right there. Then we have the one for phones, which we use. And basically, we use the one for iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. That's what we use normally. Then we have the Android, which is almost similar. Developers use that too, but mostly for design, we use the iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. Click on it, and this is what you see. So it pops up like this. And please, when you click on it, you should make sure that you check your angles very well. Because at the bottom, you can see that the thing is showing you 430 by 932. Please do not make it bigger than this. Because I had a class recently, and then I noticed that some students were using something like 2000 or something, or 4000 something by 2000 or 3000 something. Even me, I was blown away because I was like, why? And at the end of it, the mistake you can actually have when you're doing this is that when you're typing, your text will be smaller. Like I'll be using a font of 14, but then 14 on those screens will be like a tiny dot. So that's something you should be cautious of. So please use the frame guide on the right. So basically now we're going to follow the rule we did, what we had recently. So we're going to do a simple login screen, just simple. Okay, so we're going to do it like this. Now on the login screen, you open your phone, you'll notice that it's a welcome screen first, which have the logo and everything. But today we're just going to do a simple login screen. Then tomorrow we'll do something that has to do with everything compromised together. Okay, so a login screen start with your maybe an image, and then a text, and then a button, which is login, right? And then you have something called the username, the password, and everything. But now we're going to do the one that has to initiate the login, which is the sign up and login button, which is what we have. I believe we didn't do it right here. No, we didn't do it. It just gets started. So for this one, we're going to do it in a way that they're going to have the login and sign up options. Now let's do it like that. Okay, so first of all, we need to have a let's look for something now. So this is the steps we're going to use. So if I come here to the manage plugins, which is right here, and I come to this vector at AI, there's something like you said, AI. So now if I click on that vector at AI, if you click on this right here and you don't see it, this is what you do. You click on here. Let me show you the steps. You click on this thing here, this button right here, and you go to plugin and widgets. You search for vector at.ai. When you click on it, you just click on this, and then you see something called run here. It will show there, and then you click on it to now appear like this. So basically, we're going to look for maybe laptop, maybe something deals with laptop. So let's just say laptop. Then we search for it. So look for, these are different artworks on laptop. And then we're just going to look for one that we're going to use for our design. And then we can actually use maybe this thing. Just click on it, just one click. Okay, you see this right here, comes here, reduce it. So for you to actually zoom in and zoom out on your laptop, you notice that if you're using your laptop, your trackpad, you use your two fingers and zoom it like you're using your phone. That's how you do it. And then if you're using your trackpad, you use your scroll up and down, and you can use your control scroll up and down if you're doing it, or you can use your that control up and down, and then when you go there, use your space. When you hold your space, you notice that the hand tool will show, and then you click on it, and then you start dragging. So that's one of it. Okay, there are different things you can actually do. Okay, so when you have this right here, you just come here and then you delete. Now when you click on this frame, if you notice something, this is a frame, right, of a person. If you go to this place on your right, which is the fill, you see this minus icon here, which is say the remove. Click on it to remove the fill. We don't want the fill to be shown. The next thing we do is that we drag it into this place. Okay, so it's right there. And then what we do now is that we need to come to this place. You can click on it, and then you go to scale, or you click on it right here, and then you press K. So when you click on it and you press K, the scale comes up. Go to the edge, drag it in, just adjust it a bit, and then this is where you go. Now on Photoshop or Illustrator or any app, you notice that there is a position field there, center or center. So you have to just put it at the center right there, and then you adjust it a bit. So for you to do it in a way that it will just be coming out from the middle, you go to the edge, you press and hold your Alt key, and then you do it like this. So it goes from the center like that. Okay, so this is the first thing we have, and then next thing will be a text. So let's just say the text will be uh, um, green text. You click on the text now, text right here, click here, right? Click on anywhere. So you notice that it's normally 12. That's it. Like I said, 12. So you can say you want to do 14 if you want to, but yeah, 14 is actually more bolder because that's what people can see most. So you can leave it at inter or change to any form that you want, but it won't be visible. So you say, okay, the digital investor is changing rapidly. Enter. Okay. That's okay. So we have this. Digital space is changing rapidly. Let's change it together. So basically, it's actually breaking outside. Now, something I like doing mostly when I'm doing this kind of things is that, okay, so I can close this now. Close this. I don't need this. So when I'm doing this kind of things, let me show you what I do mostly when I'm doing it. So I'll see what I'm actually I will visualize what I'm actually designing on the screen. So what I do is I click on the frame right here, right? Now this is something you want to do now. Click on the frame and then you go to prototype, right? Now there's something that you will now do. You want to preview what you're doing right now. You want to preview this on an actual phone. So you can actually come here and click on preview, right? When you click on preview, it shows you this right here. So just wait, it will load, and then you see what you're doing right here. Okay, are we good? Okay, I believe we're good. If you have any questions, just let me know. And basically, you can actually watch it afterwards. It will be on the YouTube channel. So you have this right here. And then the next thing now is that we need to fix the text. Drag the text in. And then you come from this end right here. Now, when you're on prototype, you have to go back to design again. Okay, so you go back to design. Go back to design, leave prototype, go back to design. And then you put it in like this. Now from the end, put it in like this. Good. And then the next thing is that you now put it at the center. So you come here and you align center. And then you go back to this position, align center. That's it. And then your spacing, that's where you come in now. These are the things that you should follow when doing an app. So you know that your kenning or your leading in Photoshop and Illustrator, this is something that is important. So your spacing from your text and the spacing from your characters, those are important. So you know that the size is 14. So basically, maybe this one should be about 18 or 20. So 20, I think the reader can actually see it. Are you sure? Check. You go to 22. Okay, maybe that will be good. Okay, maybe you want it to be bold or semi-bold or something. Let's see. Will it be good? Medium. Okay, and then you come here, you try again. Maybe something 18. Want to be bold? Okay, good. So this one might just be a main subheading or a main heading. Okay, so we'll learn how to do variants and text very soon, like creating you create variables for your text and everything, your text styles and so on. So we come here, you start to adjust again. Now, like I said, you can do it from the middle. You press Alt and then you on the edges. Now, if you notice when you press Alt, you can see the spacing. It's important, like I said, from left and right, 49.51, which is equal. There is no mistake there. And then you just adjust everything well. Make sure, okay, that's cool. Then you adjust the height of it and just say 26 or so. Yeah, I think that works. And then let's change it together. So we have this right now. Everything is good. We're good to go. Next one, we know that the text now is 18, right? So okay, let's duplicate the text. You can say okay, Control C, Control V, okay, or you can press Control D. Still the same thing. Gives you. So we have the text now. So the next one will be our simple sign up. Now this is what we're actually going to close. So we'll say okay, sign in. Type it, sign in. Now what you do is that when you type this now, you now click on the edge here, just double click on it, and then to come back. Like I said, let me do it again. So you go to the edge here, double click on it, and then it comes back and adjust it forms. Yeah, no trouble now. So now for the sign in, you've already typed sign in. It won't be, it needs to be in a button form right now. It needs to be in a button form. So what you do now is that, okay, sign in is one of the major things that you have to do on the app. Now this is where the importance of your colors comes in. So basically we have an image right here that is showing us that, okay, we can pick our colors from there. So we'll do that when we want to. What we want to do now is I want to create the button, and we want the button to be 16 instead of 18. So we know that the major text is 18. Then for the buttons should be 16. We have 16. So what we do now is I will now press Shift A, and then which means you've created an auto layout for the button. Shift A. So what we want to do now, we'll now extend this. We want the buttons to be at the edges, like I told you that time. Now there is something that we didn't do before we started, but we'll do it right now. So we want to create a layout for the screen itself. So you can click on this frame. You can do this first before you do these things that we're doing. But it's something because sometimes the things are already on the head, so you don't forget it, like we do on Photoshop. We always forget to open the rulers when we're already doing the design. It happens. So you click on the frame, and then you go down to this place called Layout Guide. If you click on it, Layout Guide, you see this grid kind of form here. What you do now is that you now click on this, and then you go to only just columns. Okay, columns. And then when you go to columns, what you will do now, yeah, sure, we'll do that. So when you click on this, you have the 5, which is the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go to this place. You say your margin. Let's just say margin should be 30. So 30. Okay, so you know that this is where your buttons are going to be from this edge here, 30. Okay, so your butter is 20, and then stretch. Everything is in order. So when you click on this place, so auto layout helps you in different ways. It helps you in responsiveness. It helps you in like knowing where something is ending, and it helps you to organize your files. Like auto layout can help you in, let me give you an example now in a very, very more structural way. So let's say you can see this thing right here. Let's come to this place now. Okay, so let's come here. Okay, so now this is an auto layout, right? This is an auto layout right here, and in this auto layout we have this three. We have freeform, we have vertical, we have horizontal, and then we have I don't know why they changed it to grid beta, but then it's then this place is called wrap. That grid beta is a new one. So we have this 4 before, but now this grid beta is a new one. So this wrap here, it helps you in a way that when you click on the wrap, you can see how the thing is extended right here. So basically, if you are doing we are pushing it like this, it will break. So that's how it helps you to break the form. You don't want it to be like, okay, you start like this is how it was before. You have the straight, and then each of the things inside should be on fill. So each of them should be on fill. For this one now is in hog. But if you do it and then it's on fill container, you know that it's going to be filled in the container and then it's going to be distorted. And this auto layer has a very, very huge explanation. So we won't do it today, we'll do it tomorrow. So it won't be confusing for everyone. Yeah, it's a whole topic on its own. So let's not just go there today, okay? So do it tomorrow, and it's easy for for me to actually give you more time to talk about it and tell you how to use it. Okay. So for now, I just want to do the auto layer for the text and the button. So the next one will now be um, making it go and fill this place. Like I told you, you don't need put buttons that are small just like that here. No, you don't do that. So what you do now is that you hold your alternate key, and then you go to the edge, drag it to the edge here, which is your that place. Cool. And then you can add your curve, maybe about 20 or so. Okay. Okay, 20. And then you remove your you put fill, click on the fill, and when you click on the fill, you click on this sample color here, which is, and then you come here, look for this color, click on it. Cool. So, and then what you do now is that when you click on this two, you notice that there are now this new field called selection colors right here. So selection color shows you the colors on that field right there. Like it shows you that the colors, we have the black and then we have the orange kind of reddish thing. So you click on the one that you want to change, which is black, you want to change to white. You have signing. And then on signing, I normally use this height of 50. So I use the button height I use is normally 50. So I change to 50. And then what I do is that I duplicate the button, Ctrl D or Ctrl C, Ctrl V, any of them. So when you do it, you put this one down. So yeah, that's 13. I just say 13 since we have 13 here already. So we just follow that system since we have a 13 here. So the spacing will be adequate for it. So we can say, okay, this plus this is 13, and this plus this. So this plus this is now 13 too. So I just say, okay, I want it to be 15, and then we want this to click on this too. You come here to this place on the right, you change it to 15. Okay, so next one will now be the color is 000. Okay, next one will be signing. So this is where we end now. So you come here and then you remove your fill. You don't want the fill, you minus the fill. You go to stroke. Now I want it to have that stroke. And then you notice that on this page, all the colors are already registered here. So you don't need to actually come here to select it again. You can actually just select it from here. So you click on this place here, and then the text, you can't see it because it's on white. But then on the selection colors, you see your white color right here. So you click on it, and then you go to your color here, click on it. So you have your sign in and sign in, but then you want to change it to log in, right? And then the idea you can do, maybe the brand can say, okay, we don't want the color to be black. You can say, okay, maybe you want the color to be the same thing, since so you can actually just do like this. So you have your login screen. So from this one, it takes you to the next page and like that. Then you can actually add your date and time right here, which we'll do tomorrow. So we can start with that one tomorrow by adding the heading. So this is just a practice work that we can start with. When you can actually just test this out. Free time during the day tomorrow, and we can actually start from there. So we can actually end here today. So thank you for. Now you notice that we applied everything we've said during the theory on this place, which is your spacing. You applied your spacing from the left, right. You can see right here, your spacing from left, right here, spacing, and then spacing from vertical right here. Your text should be visible. Like you can see now, we're testing it on the normal phone, which we can see how the text is actually reflecting. You can see difference in text. So we know that, okay, this one is our main text, this one is our button. So we have the 18 point for the button and 18 point for the text, 16 points for the buttons. So you register that one down. That's the idea of doing UI and UX. You have to know where and when to use your different buttons and your different heights. And then that's when we'll now create styles that will be actually functional on every field that we're working on. Okay. So yeah, this is where we draw the curtain for today. Um, so if you have the questions, we'll go to the group now and then you can ask questions there. So thank you so much everyone for joining, and really it's good to have 36 viewers. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this day one section. Okay, so wish you guys a good night rest, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. Okay, everyone. Okay, so thank you so much. No, not. It depends. Anybody can. It's what you want. For me, I'm good with five. Sometimes I use six. It's not usually. It's not normally. It's not everybody. It's everybody has their own taste. For me, I can. I use I can use 10 for a website. I can use 5 for a mobile app. It's not compulsory that it must be 4. Like it's not like okay. There's something I notice every now and then that I notice that every most people who use desktop are using duplicate instead of extend. Why do we actually do that? So I noticed that that's very, very shocking. Why do we actually do duplicate instead of extend? You guys should actually use extend. It's actually better that way. I noticed it recently too. So that's the same way you're actually using 5 grade. So it depends on the person. I might be doing something and I will need the center here. So since I have that center, I can actually use that place there as a guide when I'm doing it. So it depends on the person doing it. Okay. So it's not compulsory. There should be 4 grades. Okay, everyone. So yeah, we can actually forward the questions to the group and come to the end of today's section. Tomorrow we continue. Okay, everyone. Have a good night rest.